So in today's session also we are trying to discuss about like a technical demo, and here I'm just going to explain about how we can able to deploy an application and a web service, and how we can able to get a service on the cloud. And after that, I'll just give all the details about the codes, and also we are going when we're going to start actual classes. All these things I'm just trying to uh, you know explain in today's sessions. Okay, yes. So I ask you guys to stay and be interactive whenever I ask any questions. If you have any answer, you can feel free to ask the if you feel free to share your answer. That's my request from my side. Fine, let's move on. I'm just trying to discuss about what exactly mean by server, and why we require the server, and where we can able to host your applications, how to access it. Now, all these things we are trying to discuss about in today's session. Okay, that's fine. So before I jump into today's session, I just wanted to ask you guys what is mean by server. It is a basic question. What is meant by server? This is my simple question. It is a hard drive to store data. Okay. I see the couple of responses. Let me just read the responses. One is it is a mutual mission or hard drive to store data and host the applications. This is a common question, right? Usually, we need to understand about what is a server, because every day you are trying to access a number of applications. For example, if you just go to the Instagram also it is an application. You are getting responses. That means whenever you just go to watch the reels, when you just scroll up, all the reels are going to be loaded within the fraction of seconds. All the reels are going to loading. Now, for example, if you just go to internet, when you want to transfer amount from one account to other account, you will just type the URL of any bank account. Immediately the web page is loading. My question to you guys: how all these are working fine? How you are able to access all the applications? That's the question here. Have you heard about what is mean by a deployment? How you are trying to deploy applications? All these things. So if you are very new to this topic, I ask you guys to concentrate, and we'll see about how this application is going to deployed on the servers, how to access it, and also I'll tell you that how we have to work in the real-time environment, like how we are going to configure the load balancers, how we can configure the auto scalings. These are the upcoming topics in this Spectral Codes curriculum. Now let's say the part of the demonstration. I just want to show you guys how we can able to create a service, where we can deploy the applications, how we can distribute the traffic between two servers with help of the load balancers. This is the topic which I'm trying to explain to make you understand about how technical things are going to be happening in this particular the course curriculum. This is my agenda of today's session. Let's get started, and we'll start discussing with the basics. After that, we'll move on to the advanced levels. So fine, now let's try to understand about this concept. The first we need to understand about what is the server. It is a basic, very common question. What we have to understand. See, server, it is nothing but a high configuration computer. It is nothing but a high configuration computer, the where we can able to deploy, or where we can able to host your applications. And also whenever you are trying to store your data, you are trying to store your data inside the server. So let me just give a basic understanding example. Okay. Say for example, I hope you everyone had a Facebook accounts, right? So when I want to log into the Facebook, see when I just go to the Facebook login here. Now once you hit the enter, this is nothing but my Facebook login page. So when I log into the Facebook page, so it is going to ask you that to sign up. So whenever you want to create the new Facebook account, so it is going to ask you that what is the first name, what is the last name, what is the mobile number, what is the new password, and what is the date of birth, and which gender it is, a female or male. So you are going to give all the details whenever you're trying to, create an account. You just before you type, think that from where I'm getting this page, how this page is loading into my web browser. The moment when you hit flipkart.com, sorry, facebook.com/sign in, how you're trying to getting this page. This is what we have to understand. So, for example, you are giving all the information right away. And once we have given all the information, where this information is going to be stored, this is also we have to understand. See, for example, and let me explain about the with a diagram. So after that, we'll jump in this particular practical sessions. Okay, this is my. Let's assume that this is my local machine, nothing but my laptop. In this laptop, what we have done so far, we open a web browser. Inside the web browser, we have something. It is called as a Facebook sign up page. Now here, let me just make a note. It is my laptop, and it is what we can call it as a the web browser, and this is nothing but a sign up page. It is a sign up page. Okay. Now we have to understand about how this sign up page. So we have to work. How this sign up page we have to work. So whenever you're trying to send some information, let's say for example you have a first name and you have a last name and you're trying to enter all your details. Where this data it is going to be saved. See in server, we are going to create a table for this particular sign up page. So I hope you guys heard about we have a SQL RDBMS relational database where we are trying to execute SQL. That means we are using SQL to create tables, right? So we are trying to create a table in the server, not in my local machine. So this server we are trying to use to create tables. In this table, all the data it is going to be stored. See the next time, whenever you are logged into the Facebook account. See, for example, when I click on already have an account, see first let it is going to ask you to provide the email address. This email address password you have to enter while you are creating an account. See, for example, I'm just mentioning about a Morley Social 123. I'm just hitting the password here. This is my password. See, the moment when you click on the login, what is going to be happen? How it is trying to communicate between. See this? The password you have entered it is incorrect. The password you have entered it is incorrect. Look at here. The quickly log in with your Google account, the Murali Social 123. It is able to find out my account, but it is not able to find out my password. This is an error. I'm getting this. This is an error I'm getting from where? I'm getting this error from the server. See that this is what you have to understand. This is, in server, we have a table. It is called a sign up table. In this sign up table, it is storing your username password. It is storing your username password. So whenever you are trying to create a sign up page, this page data, it is going to be stored inside this particular table in this particular username password. The moment when you click on the login here, these values are going to store in this particular database here. Now it is trying to cross verify the information which you provide for the front end. The information is already stored in the backend. If the values are not matching, you are unable to log into the server. It is throws the error. This is what you have to understand the basic question, how you are trying to access the pages, where my page is running and how my application data it is loading. So this is everything you have to understand about very clearly this particular concept. Now what we are trying to do in this session, we'll try to understand about what is server. We'll try to understand about how to create server, how we can deploy the application, how to access this application to the web browser. This is the area where we are trying to focus in the today's session. Okay. So as I discussed about server is nothing but a high configuration computer where we can able to host your applications, or you can convert your server as a web server, application server, database servers, because every server it has a different kind of requirement. So now let's get into your practical session. First, let me explain that. First, we are trying to create a server. So let me just create a server on a cloud. So I told you that in this course, we are trying to focusing on the multi-cloud. That means I'm going to explain about AWS. I'm also going to explain about GCP. That is the reason I can say it is nothing but a multi-cloud DevOps master program. Now let me just show you that how we can able to create a server on the AWS cloud. This is my AWS account. Don't worry. When we start actual classes, I'll tell you that how we can able to create accounts, all these things. Now here, if you just go to services, under services, you have something it is called as a compute. Under compute, you have something it is called as the EC2, nothing but elastic compute a cloud. So when you are going to use elastic compute cloud, it is going to help you that how to create a virtual service in the cloud. So we have to go to the option name. It is called as the EC2. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. This is my service which is going to provide by AWS to create a servers. So whatever the server you want to create, whether you want to create a Linux server, you want to create a Windows server, and you want to create what kind of servers you want to create. So we have to create the servers over here. See, when I click on the instances right now, this is the instances running. See, you have an option. It is called as a launch an instance. See, when you are go to the shop, when you would like to purchase a laptop, what are the details? What are the configurations? You're primarily going to explain to the shopkeeper. Can anyone just answer that question? I will repeat once again the question. So whenever you want to purchase a laptop and you decided to purchase and you have a budget, now, for example, you will go to the shop and what are the configurations you are going to check with your, what are the configuration you are going to check with your shopkeeper? Yes, anyone can unmute. You can share your thoughts. So primarily, what are the things you are going to looking for? Fast. I see 3 responses here in the chat box. Yes. Whenever you are going to purchase a laptop, you are primarily looking for these things. One is nothing but OS, RAM, and processor. Okay. And if you just you need to give access to unmute. Okay, that's fine. No problem. I'll Yes, I have given permission. You guys can unmute whenever I ask question. You can able to speak whatever it is there in your mind. Yes, now you guys can do it. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, we will check the OS, how much RAM we needed, and which processor we are going to use, and how much space we need.
Okay. Any other questions? Any other answers? Okay. So whenever you are trying to purchase a laptop, so primarily we are looking for the first one. So we are trying to decide that the which OS we require. That means the which operating system you want to choose, whether you want to go with the Windows, whether you want to go with the Windows operating system, whether you want to go with the Linux operating system, and whether you want to go with the Red Hat OS. This is the primarily requirement, right? The second requirement is all about you're trying to decide that what is the RAM size. Whether required for you want to go with the 8 GB or you want to go with the 16 GB. And so it is depends on your requirement, depends on your budget. You will just go with this RAM size. And now we have something it is called as storage, right? So in this storage, you are trying to decide that whether required 512 or 512 GB SSD or you required 1 TB SSD. Like the cost, it is going to be vary from the what is the configuration which you're going to choose, and also you're trying to choose something. It is called as a processor. These are the factors which we have to understand about. What is the OS we have to choose, like how much RAM we require and how much storage you want to choose, how much storage you required and which processor. So this is all things we have to understand about. This is all things you are trying to understanding about when you're trying to purchase when you're trying to purchase a laptop. See, the same thing when you want to create a server on the cloud, we have to understand some terminology here. See, when I talk about OS, so we have to call it as Amazon Machine Images. See, we should not call it as a OS when it comes to the cloud part. We have to call it as Amazon Machine Images. Why? Because this OSs, they have converted into what? Amazon Machine Images. And if we just go to the RAM, this is RAM and we have a processor. This is comes under the process category called it as a instance type. So when I say instance type, it is a combination of how many instances we required and how much RAM we required. So when I come to the storage, here we can call it as a something, it is nothing but DBS, plastic, a block storage. It is contain the structured data where we can able to store data in this particular storage area. This is the terminology we have to understand when you go with the cloud. Now, let me show you practically how we can able to launch an instance. The very simple. Now we have to choose the region. It is called a Mumbai region. I'm click on the launch instance. Now, when I click on the launch instance, the first one, so we have to provide the name of the server. See, I'm just trying to provide a Linux server right now. So once we have done with the Linux server, then we have to choose the which OS required for your, which OS required. See, I'm just going to choose this which OS I required. See, whether required Amazon Linux or I required Mac OS or I required Ubuntu. So whichever the OS which I required, so it depends on my requirement. I'm just going to choose which OS I required. See, I wanted to create let's say Linux server, or it may be Ubuntu server, it may be Red Hat server, it may be Mac OS server, or you require SUSE Linux server, or the whatever you want to create, we have to choose the OS. So now let's try to understand about how we can able to create a the server name. It is called as a Amazon Linux server, because I'm going to choose this Amazon Linux mission so that it is going to be act as a Linux server. It comes under Amazon family. And if we just come down, we have an option right now. It is called as an instance type. See, as we discussed about, we have to decide that how many CPUs required, how much RAM you required. See, these are the, see, if we go to the real time, I'm going to say normally, we have i3 family, i5 family, i7 family. So depends on the family of processor, also the cost it is going to be differ. Now, if we just go with this instance type, see, we have T.micro and we have a T.nano, T.small. And if we just come down, look at, we have T.medium, T.large. This is like a different types of instance types we have. Look at here, every family, a T.extra large means they're giving 4 CPUs and they're giving 16 GB RAM. Giving 4 CPUs, 16 GB RAM. This is the reason you have to understanding about how much, like, how many RAMs you required, how much memory required. So if we just go with this T2 for example, I will go with the T.nano. They're giving 2 CPUs and 0.5 GB RAM. It's everything is hourly basis. Okay, they are charging hourly basis. And if we go with the high configuration, for example, I need a high configurations because I won't deploy the gaming applications. If we go with the C5 family, C5A, they are providing 32 CPUs, 64 GB RAM. Look at how much they're charging per hour. They're charging per hour 22.224 cents USD per hour. This is what is the price of this particular C5 family. So like depends on your requirement, your application requirements, we have to choose how much configuration required. So don't play with this, all these things, because it is a cost to us. So first, in the beginning of the course, we are trying to practice all these things for FIT eligible. But later on, when we discuss about Jenkins, when we discuss about SonarQube, Nexus, Tomcat server and all, we have to create some paid services. So as of now, I'm just choosing this 1 CPU and GB RAM. That is more than enough right now to create my web server. Now after this, you require a key pair. So key pair, it is nothing but like a how securely you're trying to access your instance which is running on the cloud. Say for example, you have a mobile phone. There is some important data. Usually we're going to store like images and chart, whatever you want to protect from others. We are setting up logs, right? It may be password, it may be pattern. The same thing whenever you want to access your instance from the, from this cloud, we have to understand that how we have to create a key pair. Now, if we want to create a key pair, first we have to click on the create a new key pair. So the key pair name we have to mention about it. So what is the key pair name you have to mention? Let's say I'm just going to mention the demo hyphen demo hyphen the next, that is nothing but the key pair name which I'm giving right now. This is nothing but a encryption format. So the key whatever you have, it is going to convert your key into encrypted format, so it is very secure. It is going to save from the unauthorized access. That is the reason only we want to create the key pair. It is nothing but demo hyphen next. The key pair type, it is nothing but RSA, and we have ED 2551N algorithms. I am just going to use this RSA, encrypted private and public key pair. So what kind of key you want to create? Whether you want to create .pem file, whether you want to create .ppk file. The .pem, it is nothing but the privacy enhanced mail. If you go with the .ppk stands for the putty private a key pair. See, whenever you want to access your instance from the putty software, we have to create a .ppk file. So I want to connect my instance with a putty. So I'll just try to create a .ppk file right now. Click on the create key pair. See now the key pair which is got created right now. And if you just come down, see we required a network settings. As of now, don't bother about where instance are creating, how you are trying to communicating all these things. Now, what are the instance which I'm creating right now? I'm creating at Mumbai data center. Now, when you want to access the instance which is running on the Mumbai data center, you require protocol called as the SH protocol. That is the reason. Look at here. By default, we are creating a SH protocol in this particular security group. So SH means secure shell protocol. It is going to establish connection between from one mission to other mission secure connections. That is the reason we have to go something. It is called as a SSH, secure shell protocol. If you just come down, we have to go with the configure storage. Like how much storage you require. See, I'm just going to mention the here. Let's say 30 GB here. So when I mention 30 GB, it is nothing but you are going to store this 30 GB for you, allocating 30 GB for your server. Now, if you require more than 30 GB also, you can provide how much you require. Say, for example, you require 100 GB, 500 GB. If you require 900 GB also, we can do it. But is everything it is going to cost you. So if you just go more than 30 GB, because if you just read the warning, what it says, free tier eligible customers can get up to 30 GB of elastic block storage. Now, this is like we need to understanding about we are going to get 30 GB of EBS, elastic block storage. And if you just come down, look at the number of instances, how many you are going to create. The number of instances I'm creating right now, it is a 1. After this, we have to click on the launch instance. Right now, I'm just launching an instance. That means I'm creating a virtual server in the where? In the cloud. So what I will do, I have to connect this instance right now. I want to deploy an application inside my server. So when I click on the refresh, check this. This is my server. It is a pending status. Look at instance type and you have to wait for the status check. So just wait for some time. It will just take a few seconds to launch my instance on the cloud. After this, we'll see that how to access your server, how we can able to deploy the application on top of the server. So that is what our intention, why you are going to create the server right now. So first, let me just go to here. Now my server, it is up and running. Now we have to connect the server. There are multiple ways we can connect the server, but I'll show you that how securely how to connect the instance when you go to any organizations. See, we have tools called as a WinSCP and we have the putty software. It is help you to connect your server securely. Now I'm just copying this username at the DNS name. If we'll just go with the SS client, here we have to copy this EC2-user at the rate DNS name. So if you just go with the Windows and go with the putty here, when I just open the putty, Now here you have to mention about what is the host name. After this, we have to go to the appearance, click on the change. We have to mention about what is the size of this particular font. Here, whenever you want to connect the instance, you are trying to access the remote server, which is running on the AWS cloud. Whenever I talk about these things, we have to understand this particular diagram. So let's say this is my local mission. Now this is, let's assume that this is my AWS cloud data center. Now in this cloud, we have created this server. That is nothing but a Linux server we have created. Now this is running on somewhere in the data center. Now this remote server, we want to access from this particular Mumbai region to in my local machine. So, okay. Now whenever I'm going to access my instance in this particular local machine, here, whenever you don't work with this machine, it is going to be in active status. I want this instance should run always, even though if I'm not able to interact with my server, that is the reason only you have to mention here the seconds. See, when you mention seconds over here, it is going to keep, see, sending null packets to keep session active. So every 60 seconds, it keeps on sending null packets to keep your session is active. Now we have provided the username. Now we want to provide a password. Where is the password available? If you just go to SSH and if you go to the authorization, expand this, you have a credentials, right? When you have a credentials, see private key file for the authentication. When you click on the browse, when you provide this key pair, what you have created. So when you click on the open, look at here, you are going to connect the instance securely. Within fraction of seconds, I have created instance right now and I'm able to connecting. But if you want to set up a physical server on the on your on-premises, you have to go to the shop, you have to purchase hardware, you have to purchase OS premium license version. So you have to set up the physical server on your organization. On top of that, we have to install OS. Then on top of that, we are trying to install applications. But I don't want to purchase the hardware. I don't want to purchase the OS license. See that I can able to save 70% investment cost when I go to the cloud. That is the reason all the organizations nowadays they are moving from on-premise to the cloud. Now my server it is connected right now. What is the use of the server? What we can do it? See, based on your requirements, we can convert this server as a web server. We can convert into application server. We can convert to database server. See, it purely depending on your requirements. We want to convert whatever you want. So we'll see how to convert to application server, how to convert database server and all. Now we are trying to discuss about how to deploy a web application on top of this server, how to access it. Now we'll just try to understanding about, I'm trying to create a web server right now. See, first try to understand about what is meant by web server. See, for example, when you just open your Chrome, for example, I'm just going to open the Chrome. Now here you are trying to hit flipkart.com, for example. So let's see that Facebook login. Just before Facebook, let me just go with open the flipkart.com. So Flipkart is able to access everyone throughout the in our country, right? So whenever you would like to access the Flipkart, you assume that there are 10 lakh customers are sending the request at the same time. How the request goes to your server? So when the number of requests are increased, what is going to be happen is nothing but you are going to get application downtime. That time, how you are trying to access your application. So even when you are getting application downtime, based on because of that only, we have a concept called as a load balancing and auto scaling that you are going to learn in going forward sessions. Now, as of now, I want to convert this instance as a web server. That is my primary requirement. Let me just close this instance here. Okay, this is my primary objective. I want to convert this instance as a web server. So first you have to understand about what is meant by web server. So web server, it is nothing but a software where you are going to deploy your web pages inside the web server. Say for example, if you just look at the diagram, look and see, web server is a software and hardware that uses HTTP hypertext transfer protocol and other protocols to respond to the client request made over the World Wide Web. See, whenever you open a Google Chrome, when you hit www.flipkart.com, how you are getting response? You are getting response because of this particular the web server. Because in the web server, we are loading all the web pages which required and which is requesting for this particular client. Now look at here. If we just look at the image, so see that how the request goes to your server. From server, how you are getting the response. That is what we have to understand. If you just look at this diagram, it clearly says that who sent the request and how you are trying to access the application, from where to where you are getting the response. Now, this is my, like, we are the users. I hit a flipkart.com or some URL. The first request goes to whom? It will go to the web. www nothing but World Wide Web. And from here to this, the request will direct to whom? It will go to the web server. In web server, what we are going to contain? So we contain the web pages, and also it contains all the graphic files which required for my applications. Now look at here. A web server is a software program which serve the web pages to the web users. It is the serve the web pages for the web users. This is the cycle we have to understanding about what is meant by web server. So whenever you send a request, you are going to get a response to your request based on this particular, the web server only. So it is clearly telling that you are going to send HTTP request. It will just go to your server, and the server, it is going to give a response to the client. The client is nothing but we are the clients. So inside the servers, we have have Apache software, and we have Nginx. So it contains all the web pages inside the web server. That is what we are trying to doing right now. So let me just show you that web server type. These are the different types of web servers available right now in the market. We have Apache, and also we have Microsoft IIS, especially for the Windows. If we go with the Nginx, we have HTTPD, and we have a Apache Tomcat. This all are nothing but types of web servers. Now here, I'm just going to install the server. It is called as HTTPD right now. Now this is the kind of server which is going to support the Linux machines. Now if I just type the command called yum install, I mentioned the HTTPD here after -y. When I type the command called yum install HTTPD -y, what you are trying to do is nothing but HTTPD stands for hypertext transfer. P, it is nothing but protocol. D is nothing but demonized. So it is going to wait for your request. It is give a response to your request. See, don't worry about the commands, because we have a special classes on Linux commands, and there I'm just going to explain about how to work with all the commands. Now I'm just going to hit the enter here. Once you hit the enter, m install httpd -y, see, you are going to get a error. Why? Because in Linux operating systems, whenever you want to install any packages, first you have to become a root user. So when you type the command called sudo su, you are going to become a root user. Now we have to install a server right now. If you type the command called yum install httpd -y, now hit the enter. So this is it is loading this the package. That means I install my server. See, every server we have a different location where we can able to deploy all your web applications. Even if we just go to here, this is like Apache has a different location, Nginx has a default location. This is what we can call as a default location of this particular web server where we can able to deploy your applications. See, for example, I have to go with this CD. CD stands for change directory. We have to go to the where. If you have to go to www, and you have to go to the HTML here. So when I just go with this HTML directory, now here I'm going to create my web page. Now how do you create your web page? See, when I type the command called va space index.html page, which I'm creating right now. So when I open this page, this is how it is going to looks like. It is an editor where you can able to write your code. See, I would like to write my code here in this editor, like you have Notepad ++ in the Windows. The same thing you can able to identify in this particular index.html as well. So when you press I, it is going to be insert mode. Now I'll take a code from the Google because I'm not going to write any code here. So go to here. Let's say static web applications here. Let me just take any code from the Google. Let's try to search. Once again, I'm just static web application code. Let me check. In the GitHub, we have anything. Okay, let me go with this. At this time, I'll take a different application, right? So let me just take a different code. Okay. So I'll take this code right now. Yes, the others, no, only 3 are there. I'll just take this code. Click on try yourself. I'll have my code right now. Control A, Control C. Now go to the instance here and just right click. So when I mention right click, the code is going to be pasted here. Escape :WQ. We have say the code. Now, what are the application which I deployed here? That means don't think that it contains only one page. No, it contains have the multiple pages, but I'm trying to deploy in the home page of my application. So for the practice purpose, but we don't require to write any code as a DevOps engineer, to be frank, because we are trying to focus on the scripting part, how the scripting goes work and how to write a scripting. All these things you have to learn here. So we have the index.html page right now. Now I want to access this application to the web browser. How we can able to access? This is what we have to understand. So now we have this page. Now, before you want to access the page, we have to start the server. Now, how we can start the server? If we just type the command called service, if I type the command called service, httpd start, that means I'm going to start my server. Now, if you check the status of the server, which is active or running status. Now, it is active or running status, right? So, your server is active and it is a running status. So, we wanted to access this page which is running on the web server. That's the question. Now, how can we access this server? So very simple. If you just type the command called cd /var /www/html. Now we inside that we have created a page. Now this page I want to access to the web browser. Whenever you want to access, you must start this server. Otherwise, you are not going to get any response. So first, when you look at this web server diagram, it is going to send HTTP request. That means we have to open the port number. It is called as a HTTP port protocol. Otherwise, if you just go to your instance ID, look at here, whenever you want to access any application which you deployed on the server, we want to access through this particular public IP address. Every server, we have a public IP address and private IP address. Private IP address we are going to use to communicate your instances and with internally from one mission to other mission. If you go to public IP address, it is going to useful for access application to the web browser. When you click on the public IP address, when you mention Control V, once you hit the enter, check that whether you are able to access your application or not. It is just keep on loading the instances right now. See that whether you are able to access the application from the server or not. If you are not able to access the application, we have to find out what is the reason. See, whenever you are going to get this error, the site won't be reached. That means it is a port issue. So we want to understand about how to enable the port for your server. Very simple. See, whenever you go to instance here, you have to go with the security. It is nothing but where we have defined the security group. Under this, we have a security groups. Look at here. I open port number 22 only for connecting my instances. Now, whenever you want to get any response to a HTTP request, we have to open the HTTP port number. If we come down, see there is a inbound rules. In this inbound rules, if you click on the 8 inbound rules, we have a add rule. In this add rule, if you just open this, see we have something, it is called as a HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Now, when you just change this custom to anywhere and look at here, we have a click on the save rules. When you click on the save rules, this is going to be saved, right? So we have to go to the instances right now. Now same IP address here when you click on the refresh. Now look at here, you are not able to load all the images. Why? Because the images, whatever you have inside this particular web application, the images I have didn't copied, I have not placed in my web server. That is the reason I'm not able to access, I'm not able to see all the images. I can see only this particular the web page, what it contains, right? So it is not looks good. Let me deploy the page. Okay. For example, I have this code. Let me go with this open with notepad. I'm just trying to copy the code. Control C. Let me replace this application over there. So let me just type the ls command. I'll type the command called rm-rs index HTML page. I'm deleting the page. Create VA space index HTML page. Press I button. Now, what are the code which I copied? I'm placing right now. Escape colon WQ. Now, if you just look at my code, now click on the refresh. This application it has got changed, right? And this application it got changed. You can able to find out the registration form and along with the Flipkart Amazon hyperlinks. Now check, are you guys able to access my application which deployed on my AWS cloud? I'll share this URL in this chart. Check everyone, are you guys able to access and confirm in the chat box? Yes, you guys are able to access, right? I got the code from my local machine because I have some applications that from that applications I have taken that code. Okay, nothing to worry about it. So guys, this is how our sessions will be. That you'll understand about how I am taking the session. So you are able to understand from the basics. After that, we are trying to understanding about like how we can able to understand the concept, how to practically we how to do it, and all these things we are trying to discuss about all this course. So I'm just gonna start regular classes from tomorrow onwards. So first, what we can do it, and I'm just gonna start with the first AWS sessions because as of now we have given demo sessions from last 4 days. We are gonna start with AWS first, then we're gonna start with the next. After that, we're gonna start with the DevOps tools. This is the structure which I'm just going to follow you. And also let me explain that course curriculum. Okay, the course content, what we are going to cover it is. See, first you are going to understand about a DevOps introduction part, like what is mean by development, what is the SDLC process, why the DevOps came into the market, and what is DevOps SDLC, and what are the DevOps tools that we are going to use in the DevOps. All these things we are trying to understand in the going forward sessions. See, once we're done with the DevOps introduction, then we are trying to discuss about AWS services. In AWS services, we're going to start with this first VPC. Then we're going to discuss about EC2 instances, S3 and IAM, SNS, CloudWatch, CloudWatch, and we are going to explain about elastic load balancers, auto scaling, and also we are trying to discuss about databases called RDS, DynamoDB, and DevOps on AWS called as a code commit, code pipeline, code deploy. All this we are trying to cover in this particular course curriculum. See, once we're done with this AWS services, then we are trying to discuss about something it is called as a Linux here. We are trying to cover about Linux commands. After that, we'll straight away we'll jump with DevOps tools. First, we'll start with the Git. And these are the topics I'm going to cover. I clearly mentioned topics, whatever we're going to cover in the curriculum. Then we'll start discussing about Maven and Tomcat server. The continuous integration tool, it is called Jenkins. After that, we'll try to discuss about SonarQube. After that, we'll discuss about Nexus and Prometheus and Grafana and Docker. After that, we'll try to discuss about Kubernetes. After that, we'll discuss about Ansible and like we have to understand what is Jira will do it. So this is tools. With this, again, we are trying to discuss about Grafana, Prometheus, Terraform. See, Terraform also it is included in this course curriculum. I'll majorly focusing on these tools because as per the industry, as per the industry requirement, because I know that I used to handle the corporate training, so I'll easily get to know that what industry expecting from the employees because they are training their employees on Docker and Kubernetes. So these are the two tools are playing a major role nowadays. So we'll try to focus on Docker, Kubernetes, and Terraform. When you go to any interview, without these three tools, there is no interview. So go with the Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform, and I'll focus more about Ansible and focusing on Jenkins and Grafana, Prometheus. These are the tools are very, very important and has a very good demand in the market. So this is what we are going to cover in the core curriculum. And I told you that it is end-to-end training. It is not like we simply cover the theoretical parts. We can say this done this. No, we'll show you everything practically how we have to work in the real time. What are the issues you are going to face? How to resolve those issues? That each and every point I'm going to cover in this particular course. So if you guys are interested, I hope you guys have respective consultants. You can just get back with them and consult with them and we'll take it forward from there. Okay. So if I have any questions, you can ask. So one more thing, those who completed the course with us. So for them, we provide the referrals. It is genuine referrals which we're going to provide. If anyone is a freshers, for them, we are providing internships here. So if you want to really become a DevOps engineer, this is a great opportunity, I can say honestly, because we are training the people from the like end-to-end DevOps here. That means from the starting AWS to till the DevOps ending part, we'll taking care of this whole part of the codes. Yeah, anyone have any questions here? We can unmute one by one. You can ask so that I can able to help you with the questions. If there is no questions, means either you guys understood clearly, others you didn't understood nothing here. And if you have any questions related to the training part, and also you can ask. There is nothing to worry about it. I'm here to guide you guys to give the right direction. That's it. Understood? Okay.
No questions.
Yes, Jack. Jay, tell me. What's your
Yeah,
question? Can you please show up how to get the code, please?
quick. Yeah, just where you quickly got that code before you put it in the index.html. Or is
I
it
got
your
code.
personal file or something you copied from online?
You can do it either way. You can go to the online. If you go with this website, www.resource.com, there are some web pages available ready-made. You can just see, for example, you go to here in this website. This is the page where you have. So, for example, if you want to apply this code, if you click on try yourself, it is going to open like this. This is the code. You have to press Control A, Control C.
That is where I'm missing. That is where I'm missing. So what did you click again? That is exactly where I'm missing.
Click on try yourself.
Oh, try it yourself.
Yeah. And click on try yourself. This is a page is loading here. You have to press Control A to select all the code.
Can you share us that link, that URL to the chat?
I'll just share in the chat box.
Yeah,
you can get it over there.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I'll try it myself.
Yes. I shared code.
Thank you.
I hope you guys are clearer with this all the topics what we're going to cover, because yesterday also I clearly explained about it. And still, if you have any questions you want to check with me, you can feel free to call me so that I can able to explain that how this training is different from other institutes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a great day. I'll meet you in tomorrow's session.